PWF Empire is live. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. A night of glorious proportions. I don't even know if I said that right, but I'm not even thinking clearly right now because we have a new WWE World Champion, a man by the name of AJ Styles, a champion that we all can be proud of, or at least some of us can be proud of, and I'm one of that some. Thank you guys for joining us on PWF Empire Live tonight. Jay, along with Lucas, how are you feeling tonight? Is AJ Styles a champion you could be proud of?
Absolutely. I am a big Dean Ambrose fan, but this was the right fucking call. AJ Styles becoming the WWE champion tonight.
And of course, we got that to talk about, plus everything else that happened tonight at Backlash, the first of WWE's brand exclusive pay-per-views in this new era. We got the night started off with the six-pack elimination challenge to determine the inaugural WWE SmackDown Women's Champion. Becky Lynch, Carmella, Nikki Bella, Natalya, Naomi, and Alexa Bliss. The winner and our very first SmackDown Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. Now, this was a very happy moment for me being a Becky Lynch fan. There was a point in time earlier this year when Becky Lynch was the best babyface on WWE's roster, period. Period. You want to talk about a fucking women's revolution? Let's look at the fact that Becky Lynch was the best protagonist on WWE TV, male or female. And that's great in her regard. And, yeah, it was truly awesome to sit back and watch that. And then, taking all of that into account, she should have won a fucking championship at WrestleMania. But whatever. I still don't think I'm ever going to get over that, but, I digress. Let's talk about her actually winning a championship here tonight at Backlash in this match.
Like AJ Styles winning, this was the right call as well, having the title be on Becky Lynch. This was overdue. This was a long time coming for Becky Lynch. Mm-hmm. A very long time coming. As you mentioned, she started the year red hot. What was it? At the Royal Rumble, she had all this momentum going for herself. And we all thought she was going to become this huge figure on Monday Night Raw. But now she's on SmackDown. And that might have been the best thing that happened to her. Because ever since she's been drafted to SmackDown and she's been away from Sasha Banks and Charlotte, she's pretty much shining on her own now. She's standing out on her own. And we're getting to see more of what Becky Lynch is all about, which is absolutely excellence. I love everything about Becky Lynch. And this match right here, can we talk about this match too? Because this match set the pace for what I thought was an amazing pay-per-view. This match right here actually kind of stole the show, in my opinion, which is a surprise because I wasn't expecting that out of all of these women that were competing in this match. But we got a hell of a fucking match, and
I get really nervous when they book these multiple women matches like this because it's so easy to just throw some mess on the screen. Because I remember there was one time in a match where the simplest move, somebody got pinned after it. I think, what was it? There was a point in time where I think it was Charlotte. She got pinned by a fucking drop kick. It's just like the simplest moves in these multiple women matches. Like you blow hard enough in one of their direction, like whew, they fall over, and that's enough to fucking pin them. And I'm glad that they actually handled this match with some respect and some care. And what this did was it set, like you were saying, it set a very nice tone for me for what we are to expect from the women's division on SmackDown going forward. We had a few impressive people in the division. We had some feuds building up and advancing, and just all around a really good match and a nice way to kick off the show for Backlash. And we also have Evan joining us at this time. We are currently discussing the first match on Backlash with Becky Lynch winning the Women's Championship.
Well, I'm very glad that I didn't have to miss a whole lot, but I had to catch the ending of Sunday Night Football because my Patriots just pulled out a very, very, very dramatic victory.
Oh, let's not get started on football now.
Oh, I will not. But I had to make a quick mention of the Patriots getting a spectacular win in Week 1. But this first match of the night was
Speaking
also
of spectacular wins.
Yeah, Becky Lynch gets herself a spectacular win.
Like that transition there?
Yeah. They were both spectacular in their own way. I mean,
although Becky's was probably a lot better, but Hey,
well, coming from a non
says the guy from New York.
Yeah, that's a little bit easy for them Giants fans to talk about. But anyway, I gotta say this was really cool for Becky. I mean, I thought she was gonna win this match, but I'm really glad that they actually went that far and had her win. But you know what? Like you were saying, Jay, when I first got here, I think the thing that I liked the most about this was that there were a lot of actual kickouts, and that this wasn't a match that was predicated on easy eliminations like we've seen before. A match that I saw live that was like this was at Survivor Series 2013, I want to say, and there was like it was like a 7-on-7 women's match. I think it was actually like Total Divas.
That's one of the ones I'm talking about right there, which now it ranks as the worst match I've ever seen.
Exactly, because
if you're counting at least wrestling, because I saw a pretty bad fight over the weekend, but I digress.
Oh well.
Did you see a bad fight?
Plenty
I thought you weren't watching
man.
that fight.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you saw it. Oh, okay, cool.
Saw what?
Yeah.
Anyway, this match here. This match, though.
Yeah, your shots at that guy are going to be going on for a while. I already know that. But basically, and in that type of match, you could literally just like snap your fingers in someone's face. They take a bump and you can pin them. Like it was so bad. You know what I mean? So I'm really glad this match was nothing like that. The thing that did make it a little rigid for me was the fact that they were throwing people out of the ring and breaking up pinfalls. I hated that aspect of the match. And you pointed out, Jay, again, how David Otunga was actually making himself useful for once. Thankfully, because his commentary
he called it out on commentary. Like, they keep throwing each other out of the ring. Like, somebody actually has to pin someone to, win.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense for them to be throwing people out of the ring. And like, I remember Natalya did it at one point. She canceled a pinfall, and they were like, man, I question this strategy. And that's a very realistic thing to say because it didn't make a whole lot of sense. So psychology-wise, I think this match was a little off, but the in-ring action that we got was good, and the moment for Becky to win the title was also good. I don't want to sound too nitpicky there, but I do think that did take away from this match because psychologically it just doesn't make that much sense when it's an elimination match for you to be canceling somebody else's pinfall. Like, you want other people to take care of the other competitors because it doesn't matter whether someone else gets eliminated. It only matters if you do,
I think I know why I like this match so much tonight. And I don't know if I'm overrating it or not, but the reason why I like this match so much is because it provided a fresh feel to the women's division in WWE. Not just for SmackDown, but just in general, because for months we've been shoved down our throats with this idea that the only three women that really mattered were Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch. But now we're getting the sense that no, there are actually other women in this division that are capable of living to that potential that Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch have been living up to as of late. And I like that. I like this dynamic now where new faces are starting to shine and expose themselves in this division. For example, I tweeted it tonight. Alexa Bliss, man, she's fucking awesome. Like, I'm mad that she was the first one gone and eliminated tonight, but she has a bright future, and I'd actually like to see her be the first to feud with... you
want to talk about bright futures? Let's talk about Naomi for a little bit.
All right.
I really wanted her to win this match just to see if the women's championship would glow in the dark. I mean, she was good too. Like you say, you were impressed by Alexa Bliss. I love those sunset flips that she does into like the like I like to call it like the sunset bomb that she does in the corner. That's good shit. Naomi, she really impressed me in this match. This was like one of the very first times, or probably the first time ever, that I've been able to say that she's got a chance to wrestle. And she looked good.
Yeah, she was. A lot of them looked good tonight.
And it's going to be very important going forward to have her continue to do stuff like this, because I've always had a problem with how they refer to her as she's arguably the greatest athlete in the women's division, and you can tell that they only said that about her just so, okay, well, we'll never give you a fucking championship. Let's just go ahead and throw you that bone so you could have something to so you could say you accomplished something. But we never really got a chance to see it in the ring. But now I think that they're pushing her into a direction where we're possibly going to see it in the ring. So good stuff from her, good stuff from Alexa Bliss. Becky Lynch with the win. Nice feud continuation with Carmella and Nikki Bella. Overall, good outing for the women's division on SmackDown.
I don't know if this has a lot more to do with the fact that SmackDown is just booking things a lot better, but I really like this. I really like the direction they're going with the women here because, as you just said, Jay, it's not just one title feud we're getting out of the women's division. It's also Carmella versus Nikki Bella. Like, you're getting several feuds out of this, and that's brilliant. When was the last time we could say that about the women's division in the WWE? I can't recall.
Yeah.
Okay,
really
next. Go ahead, Evan.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, you really can't. I mean, it was definitely evident that the SmackDown Women's Division is strong, is good, has a bright future. That's a really encouraging sign and a great start to the pay-per-view.
Next up, we have the second chance tag team match to see who is going to qualify for the finals of the tag team tournament. The Usos versus the Hype Bros. Jimmy and Jay win. They defeat the Hype Bros, and they move on to the final.
Yeah, this was awesome for me, mainly because of how much I liked the new Usos. I like their new gear. I like their new swagger, their persona. Like, I think their theme song needs to change up. A little bit of
attitude.
Yeah, but I like that attitude that I see out of them. They look like a couple of punks. You know, like look like they want to go out there and kick ass rather than, you know, cater to the crowd or any of that stuff. Like, they actually look like they transitioned from being faces to heels, and you don't see that a lot the last few years. You see characters turn face or heel, and they don't, not a lot about them changes, and whereas the Usos, they feel completely different already, and that's a really good sign to me. And in an already pretty strong tag team division that they got on SmackDown, I think the Usos are finally being the team that they needed to be for the last year plus, because they were getting really stale as they were. So this heel turn for them is very necessary, and I think that made this match more enjoyable for me. I think it was good, and they definitely were the right team to go over.
Yeah,
most definitely.
I agree, because I think that if you didn't have the Usos turn heel here, and it was just going to be the Usos taking on the Hype Bros, you wouldn't have that emotional feeling you would for this match. I feel like them turning heel added to the drama, added to the intensity of a very good babyface team going up a very good heel tag team. So I like the mixture there, because honestly, like, if it was just the Usos against the Hype Bros, you can't really differentiate. Like, okay, what's the difference here? There's not much that these guys have anything to separate themselves from. So I like the fact that they did have something different. And as you said, Evan, it's freshening. I don't know what it is about SmackDown, man, but everything they're doing right now is creative. The Usos look relevant for once, and this is overdue for them. Like, They deserve the heel turn for a long time now.
Nice point for wrestling in the Air Force Ones. I noticed that. Nice choice of shoe there. The Usos, I like the swag that they have now, and you mix a little bit of attitude with a little bit of Seth Rollins, and now you got their gimmick. Yeah, this was a good match. I liked it if for one thing only, because we got to see this new version of the Usos, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to, and seeing how they live within this heel turn, because I've looked at the Usos throughout the years, and because of Total Divas, like me seeing especially how Jimmy is on that show, and seeing how funny he is and how big of a personality that he has, and seeing how that doesn't really translate to the babyface Usos, I want to see if they could somehow, some way bridge the gap between what he is in real life and what that team is in real life, and the big personalities that they have, and enabling them to show that on TV. And if we could possibly get that with that heel turn, then I think they're in for a good ride. And we also have to look forward to them and American Alpha somewhere down the line. So, yeah, yeah. I mean, this was a solid match, and it gets most of its points from the Usos for me.
And hey, it did the main thing, which was it accomplished us having sympathy for the Hype Bros. Because I look at the Hype Bros, and I'm not knocking them or anything, but they're really not like the best or the top tag team on SmackDown. But because of the way they lost, you could really make a case for them that, wow, they got screwed over or something, and it makes you want to care for them now. Like, I got the impression that the Usos did a good job of putting over the Hype Bros. Even though they lost, it feels like they should get something out of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the Usos, those dirty bastards, just going out there injuring people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you get to the top.
Mm-hmm. And they were using some new moves too, which I love when there's a face to heel turn.
Very important.
Love that, because not enough of that the last few years when a guy turns from one to the other. You don't see the different moves. I like that they had more of a ground game, more double team moves that we hadn't been seeing from them. Before they were more high flying and having a good time with the aerial moves, and now you're seeing more of a ground game, an attack style, much more of a heel type moveset, and that really does have an impact. So definitely a great stuff from them.
Who knew they could be this exciting, right?
It's been a long time since
right here. I just told you. I just told you, man. Total divas.
Oh, I don't have time to watch this crap. I mean, come on now.
Okay, next up, we have another championship match. This was for the Intercontinental title. The Miz with his ride or die chick, Maryse, versus Dolph Ziggler, the disgruntled uppity jobber of WWE. And, true to form, Dolph Ziggler loses here, but he lost because of Maryse. And Jerry Lawler, I got to give him props. He said something about, if you lose, you're pretty much a winner if you learn something. And he said Dolph Ziggler tonight learned to moisturize because Maryse sprayed something in his face that allowed Miz to take advantage of that distraction and then hit him with the skull-crushing finale, pin him, and retain his championship.
This was honestly one of the best matches of the night and one of my favorite IC title matches in a long while. Mm-hmm. Like, this is one of the first times in a while that I can say I was, like, genuinely enjoying this match from beginning to end over the Intercontinental Championship.
To be honest, though, I think it has everything to do with The Miz.
Oh, trust me, that was exactly what I was just about to say. Is that The Miz?
You want to talk about an A-lister? The Miz looked like a bona fide friggin' star in this match. Everything about him. You incorporate the moves. He tried out some different stuff. That sit-out powerbomb that he did where he bounced Ziggler off of the top rope. That was good stuff. Taunting his boss. Yes. His boss. In the damn ring, doing the yes chant and all of that stuff.
And taking hits and bumps, which nobody gives him credit for, including Daniel Bryan. Well, tonight, he went out there and he took some serious bumps.
Yes. The Miz looked like $1 million in this match. Good shit.
And he plays a heel role so well. I actually want to also praise him for what he had to say straight to Daniel Bryan's face right before this match. I really like the way they had him say that to Bryan. His music hits, and then he comes out. I thought that was such a cool transition that we don't usually get to see. And then not only that, but this match was, like, very, very good. Now, I'm not going to not credit Ziggler for doing what he did in the match. He was a nice placeholder for Miz to shine with.
That was the point. I think that's why they put... Now that I think about it, that's exactly why Ziggler was in that position.
I think so. It made Miz shine, and honestly, I gotta say, this is some of the, if not the, absolute best work of the Miz's entire career. Like, he is on fire right now. And Fuego, man. This guy is just... He's on it. He's great. He's hitting his stride. I think this is really like him entering his prime right now. And the pairing of him and Maryse has been amazing too. But this IC title match right here, I was enjoying it. It told me a story. Miz was doing new moves. I love the taunting of Daniel Bryan. It's great, man. Him as IC champion has been excellent. And he's playing a heel role like a heel is supposed to. He's actually getting heat from the crowd. That's awesome. Like, he's actually getting a crowd who normally is, like, not really playing up to the way that things are in kayfabe supposed to be. Like, they'll cheer the guy who's supposed to be booed and vice versa, whatever. He's actually a heel who's getting that heat from the fans. And that means that he is doing something right. And he's doing everything right now.
Needs to do. And
pretty much.
It's wonderful. Like, he put on a clinic, not in the sense that, you know, like an AJ Styles will put on a clinic, and we'll get there, but just for an overall pro wrestler playing a character. And that's, I can't really necessarily say that The Miz is underrated in that sense, but he isn't praised to the level that he should be when it comes to The Miz playing a character, because there are a lot of heels in WWE. They want the "this is awesome" chants. They want to be deemed cool. What Miz wants is for you to hate his damn guts, and he has no problem whatsoever playing that role, and he did that perfectly tonight. That pairing of him and Maryse, good shit. And Dolph Ziggler, he was there, so yeah.
Going into this match, I think you guys can agree with me. I had no expectations for this match to like excite me. This actually caught me by a lot of surprise, because to me this was just going to be another freaking match. Yeah, this was just going to be another freaking match between Miz and Ziggler, which we've seen a dozen, triple million, whatever times. But no, tonight was something different. But I think what stood out was the Miz the most. This was by far a one-sided match. But it doesn't matter, because Miz made you want to watch. Miz made it fun for me. I don't think I can say the same for Ziggler, because as Evan said, Ziggler was basically there to do the job, and that's exactly what he did. But Miz, I mean, how often do we say that about the Miz, that he actually went out there and made you want to watch his freaking match? No matter how many times we've seen this match, this time it felt different. He made it feel different, and that's the brilliancy, that's the magic of the Miz. That when he wants to, he can deliver and make you want to tune in. Must see. You know, it's not just a gimmick. Must see is actually a real thing with this guy.
Magic Miz.
He's making the IC title feel like it's worth a lot. Like, that's... like, I can't say that about many of the past IC champions. Like, that's like a dream come true for like wanting a mid-card title to mean something and matter and have importance and relevance. And it's great. It's really great. And his reign has actually, like, it started off not even really that impressive, and it's just gotten better and better as it's gone along. And really, I am so impressed with his work. And like Jay said, you know, and I've said the same thing, I don't think he gets enough credit. He really is underrated and underappreciated for how good he is and how much better he's gotten over the years.
But we do
Someone in the chat said, GTFO, give Dolph more credit than that. Okay, I'll give Dolph credit for his gimmick of... No, I'll give him credit. He is playing his gimmick perfectly. He is.
Because his gimmick's a loser, right, Jay?
I don't quite understand.
Yeah. Okay.
If this is a gimmick, then this has been his gimmick for the last, 3 years.
But now it's not just shitty booking that has led to it. This is intentional. Like, he's an intentional loser this time around. They're in on it. The WWE creative team.
Ziggler's always been like a mid-carder kind of guy who's always been mad that he's not in the main event scene. Maybe I see it that way, but to me this is nothing different for him.
Well, the progression of him going from the WWE title to the IC title makes it just feel like it kind of backs up that narrative that he's a loser, because
watch him go for the tag titles next.
He's literally like, I couldn't win this one, so let's go for this one. Like, that's kind of what it does come off that way.
But eventually it's going to get old. Like,
ride it until the cows come home, Ziggler.
And again,
so are you saying there's something good for him at the end of this? Because I don't see it.
Retirement.
Kayfabe-wise, that's not going to be anything good. But, I mean, again, I'll never discredit his work rate. I'll never discredit his actual ability. But, like, this is a situation where you should not be surprised in 2016. And like I said, when he was going for the WWE title at SummerSlam, the window has passed for me for wanting Dolph Ziggler as this, like, main event guy, or as this, like, top-level guy, or someone who, you know, rises to prominence. That was there for me in 2012, 2013, you know, whatever. And then these last couple of years, it's just like, I mean, they've told me time and time again that they don't care that much about him, so it just makes me lose interest. They did the same thing with Zack Ryder, And obviously they did it to a bigger and longer level with Dolph Ziggler. But it's kind of at this point you kind of just learn to accept the fact that the guy's an excellent worker. He's fun to watch in the ring, and he always will be. He'll always be one of the best bumpers and sellers that the WWE's probably ever seen. But when it comes to, him winning matches, you just can't expect that at this point. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, because the guy is very good. But at this point in time, his character is just a Shawn Michaels tribute act, like I said last month, and that's not a character that I want to see be a champion. That's not a character any of us want to see be a champion. You want to see a cheap version of one of the best of all time be a champion? If it was Dolph Ziggler of 2012 or 13 when he was the show off and actually was his own gimmick, then maybe I would feel differently.
That's what I was about to say. Like, his prime was basically in 2013 when he had that first world title run on, I believe it was SmackDown, and he was paired with AJ Lee, and all of that stuff was amazing. But it's unfortunate because that one concussion he had, that's really what kind of cursed the guy. And I don't know if that's his fault or WWE's fault for pressing the stop button on him, but he really had things going for him, and I just don't know whatever happened since then. He just was never able to recover.
Okay, next up we have at Backlash. Actually, this match didn't even take place, but I guess technically Bray Wyatt defeated Randy Orton via forfeit. There was a segment backstage earlier on in the night where Bray Wyatt was shown in the act of attacking Randy Orton's ankle, smashing it in a doorway, I think. So we get through all of that, and then it's announced that Bray Wyatt will have a surprise opponent in a no fucks given match. I think WWE called it no holds barred, but no fucks given match because it turned out to be Kane, and
which was so predictable.
Bray Wyatt actually lost because Randy Orton came out with an RKO out of nowhere, and then Kane didn't even pin him off of the RKO. He made sure to add insult to injury, picked him up, chokeslammed him, then pinned him. So Bray Wyatt loses.
Why is Bray Wyatt still on the main roster? What? Better yet, I have a headache right now. I seriously have a headache. I'm about to go off. Because what is the point of this feud between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton if you're going to have Bray Wyatt lose to a guy he's not even supposed to be feuding with in the first place, in Kane? So what does that go to tell you about Bray Wyatt going forward? That pretty much his feud with Randy Orton doesn't mean jack shit. So why would you have him go out there and lose to Kane? Like, this does not make any sense. This really doesn't make any sense.
Oh man, this just drives me right to my point that I've been making all this time. Like this just like makes me dig my hole even deeper on the Bray Wyatt thing when I was talking about how it's like the 3 strikes you're out thing, and they struck out like 2 innings ago, but yet they're still at the plate thinking that they have another chance, and it's not them themselves. It's like creative saying, hey, you can stay right in the batter's box. It's okay. We'll give you 10 strikes, 15 strikes, 20 strikes. Like, no. Okay, this is why I don't take Bray Wyatt seriously, because he loses to motherfucking Kane on a pay-per-view. Like, and like, I
hasn't even been on TV.
Yeah, like this guy, what did he do on SmackDown this past week? Chokeslam Fandango, and now he beats Bray Wyatt? It's like, come on. Kane is doing nothing right now. And it's funny because when Bray Wyatt hit that senton on Kane through the table, I was like, man, that was cool. I do got to give them props on that spot, but that's the only spot that I'm going to say anything good about, because this was a monumental waste of time. I didn't even mind the idea of Bray Wyatt smashing Orton's ankle in the door. Like, I was like, oh, that's the first deceptive and cynical and logical thing that Bray Wyatt's done in a long time. That actually plays into the strengths of Bray Wyatt's character. Like, oh, good job. That was good. And then this whole thing happened where I feel the exact opposite. And I guess Orton, actually was hurt, and that's, why he couldn't wrestle. I guess I heard that rumor at the beginning of the day. But, why have Wyatt go out there and lose? It just goes to show you that the whole point of Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton was to have Randy Orton bounce back after the loss against Lesnar. That was the whole point of it, is that Bray Wyatt is jobber fodder. And it's like, this is why I don't take him seriously, and I never am going to.
He was basically a filler for Randy Orton to get over and have something meaningful going on for him. And it doesn't make any sense, because they could have really taken the advantage tonight. And if Orton was not going to have a match, they could have had Bray Wyatt look credible facing Kane, beat Kane, build him up to then have Randy Orton face a dominant Bray Wyatt with momentum. But now this is meaningless now.
Or like at the very least, have Bray Wyatt beat Kane, and then have Randy Orton pop up with the RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah, that could work.
Because
too.
he would be knowing the type of person that Bray Wyatt is in his moment of triumph, being embarrassed by Randy Orton, that would probably be equal to him losing. So you actually protect his character in a sense that you don't have him fucking lose to Kane. But I'm not even going to talk about this match, to be quite honest. The spot I'm going to talk about, which impressed me the most out of everything that happened, was when Randy Orton, he went for the RKO, and he was so quick when he went for the RKO, but then he flipped back into Viper mode, and he slowly slid out of the ring. Like the RKO so fast, and then he slowly slides out of the ring. That's nice.
Yeah, that was cool.
Randy Orton is fucking phenomenal when it comes to psychology, and that was a good moment of it, and that's all I have to say.
See, and there you go. You could have done this with Wyatt hitting Sister Abigail, winning the match, turns around, bang, RKO. He still gets his RKO in, and Wyatt wins the match. Like, him interfering in this match here just didn't need to happen. It just didn't need to happen. Because it's like, if you want Bray Wyatt to look formidable at all for Randy Orton, then him at least beating Kane, of all people, shouldn't be impossible. It shouldn't be something that doesn't happen. But you know what? I've been done with Bray Wyatt. I continue to be done with Bray Wyatt. I am continuing to be the Eric Rowan supporter for life. That is all.
Evan, thank you. You actually, wow, you read my mind, because I was not gonna let you finish that whole run on you did there without mentioning Eric Rowan.
Oh,
in fact, I was gonna
why
say
would Eric
Evan,
Rowan need to be mentioned?
Hold on, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that.
One.
No, Evan, what you should have said was, this would have been great if the opponent that came out to face Bray Wyatt was Eric Rowan, right? This would have saved everything.
Because that would have guaranteed him a win right there, right?
Right,
exactly. Because Eric Rowan would put him over.
Exactly, and he would make Bray Wyatt look like $1 million. You see the brilliance in Eric Rowan there.
Yeah, and plus
$1 million
Wyatt,
minus what? $999,999.
But the last time we saw Eric Rowan was Wyatt turning on him, like it was, or he like threw his mask down or whatever, like disrespecting the GOAT, which is the greatest of all time, which is Eric Rowan. 2 + 2 = 4. It's such an easy equation. And then Eric Rowan comes down, puts him over. And then RKO out of nowhere, and we're good. Lights,
or
camera,
I'll have
action.
Luke Harper go out there too and make it a triple threat and have Eric Rowan win that triple threat.
Oh, yes.
That works too.
Yes. To become
triple
number one
threat,
contender.
you know what? We're moving on. Rhyno and Heath Slater versus the Usos. This was the finals of the tag team tournament to determine the new, first ever tag team champions over on SmackDown. And the winners, Heath Slater and Rhyno. Rhyno pinned one of the Usos after they were gored by, Heath Slater pinned one of the Usos after they were gored by Rhyno. And now the Slater children get to go to sleep with full stomachs. They don't have to go to sleep hungry tonight. They can upgrade to the double wide trailer. Beulah, she's good. She can buy her something nice because Heath Slater, my boy, he has a contract now. Good shit.
Oh, great shit, man. I love this. I love that Heath Slater finally gets the contract. This was it was actually a really nice conclusion to a funny, lighthearted and enjoyable story that I could follow and get into. He was really over tonight. People were chanting for Slater. They were chanting for Rhyno. They wanted them to win. They were fan favorites, and it felt like I want these guys to win. I legitimately was cheering for them, rooting for them in this match. So that's amazing, and I'm just glad that they actually pulled the trigger. I was worried they weren't going to do it, they were going to tease the story and then Rhyno was going to turn on them or something, was going to happen. I was like, oh, please tell me they're really going to do this. Thankfully they did it, and it made for a really cool moment, and it was actually a pretty enjoyable match too.
Yeah, this did make for a good story in a weird way. This whole thing was supposed to be a comedy stunt. I forgot who it was a few weeks ago that Oh yeah, Steven. He brought up the question, is this supposed to be taken seriously or is this supposed to be comedy? Well, now I think we've gotten to that solution and that conclusion. And this whole story here, although it started off as a funny story, we actually did get something good out of it. And it's that we have a man here who's struggling to get a job. Now he finally gets that job, and it's a happy story. So
this is the American dream, man.
Right? Yeah, it's more. It's a good little story. Like, it's more than just comedy. When you look at the whole spectrum of it all, it's a pretty good story to tell on TV. You know, for the children and all that. Never give up on your dreams, etc. So I like this, but I gotta say, man, are they really the tag team champions? Like, going forward,
Yeah.
like. That's the question. Like, I'm not knocking it, don't get me wrong, but I hope that's not like a long-term thing, because I get the idea that what they're trying to do here is create the new Team Hell No. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that was a pretty cool run that Team Hell No had there. But as tag team champions, I don't know if I want to see this for like 3 or 4 months.
If I'm being completely honest, the only thing that I wanted out of this entire scenario was Heath Slater to get a contract so they could lose it on Tuesday for all I care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I really, like, okay, we've gotten to that destination, but now it's like, no, I do not, like, I don't want to see these guys as tag team champions against credible tag teams like American Alpha. Like, that just makes absolutely no fucking sense. If they want to make a new Team Hell No, then go ahead. But just don't put the titles on them for a long time. That's all I'm asking for.
Going back to what you said about Heath Slater, him sending a message to everyone that they could chase their dreams, I think that that's a very important message to send. Just letting people know that you can go out there and pursue a dream and then win in the end too. So that's a very important, message to send.
It's honestly amazing, like how of comedy angle could be something that at the same time you're still part of you taking it seriously. Like it's beyond what I think the parameters that WWE may have set for it. They may have had a very narrow lane that they kind of put this story into, and then it kind of just got bigger and better. And I think that's kind of where Team Hell No kind of similarly started that way, like a very small thing. Now this is probably never going to reach the magnitude of Team Hell No because they were benefit of the era of the Shield, because it was them and the Shield going back and forth. Like those matches and those moments
awesome.
on Raw and stuff were amazing with those two teams. But despite the fact that this is obviously not going to get to that level, it's still been fun in its own right, and I think it made this pay-per-view that much more fun to watch. And so that's a really cool moment. And you know what? Honestly, if they lost the belts on Tuesday, I wouldn't even be that surprised. But I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that because Slater, that you could still continue a storyline on with Slater. In fact, you could have Slater and Rhyno get involved in a feud, and it could be a fun feud. So, it's a win-win situation, I think.
Pretty much.
What else do we have up? Oh, one more thing left. The main event of the night. The WWE World Championship match, AJ Styles versus John... Did I say John Cena? Oh, shit. Why am I... I don't... See, no, let me not... That wasn't even shade. That was...
It's Justin. Justin's got into your head.
Oh. Whoa, I got to get that out, man. AJ Styles versus the former WWE World Champion Dean Ambrose, because he's the champion no longer. AJ Styles snatched that championship right away with a dick kick and the Styles Clash. He pins him, he wins, and I think the thing that capped everything off for me here was when AJ Styles was celebrating on the stage, and he was like, got him. And I was like, oh, yes, you did. You got him, and you got that fucking title. Good on you. And the funny, it was so weird for me. It was kind of a surreal situation because I sat back and I watched this match live, and I was excited about AJ Styles winning, but it didn't really hit me until I watched it for a second time. And I said, holy shit. AJ Styles is the WWE champion. Not any other AJ Styles. That AJ Styles. The AJ Styles from TNA. The AJ Styles from Ring of Honor. The AJ Styles from New Japan Pro Wrestling. That guy is the WWE champion now. Wow.
Well, I think the thing with you is it's not so much about the win or how he won that got you excited. It's the fact that he is now the champion that got you excited. And that's exactly what happened with him.
And also the win.
Yeah.
And also the win.
I will say, though, this was a phenomenal match. Don't get me wrong. However, if AJ Styles can beat John Cena squeaky clean at SummerSlam, why the hell could he not do the same tonight? That's the only thing that's irking me about this.
It's the whole lunatic fringe thing. That's what it is.
Dean Ambrose just causes this.
You can see throughout the match them trying to establish that narrative, like, what could AJ Styles do to put Dean Ambrose away? And I'll actually give WWE points, and Dean Ambrose points on this as well. And it sucks that it took now for them to start doing this, because it's going to seem like I'm only giving him praise because he lost the championship. It's like, oh, now that we got the fucking title off of him, then I can go back to liking him. It's not that a situation like that. It's that the little bits of lunacy that I saw from Dean Ambrose in this match, this is who I wanted to see on a more consistent basis throughout his run as champion. And I know the exact moment where it happened, where AJ Styles was on the ring apron. He was like kind of in between the ropes, and Dean Ambrose did a drop kick. AJ Styles fell out of the ring. Dean Ambrose threw him over the barricade. He ran and rushed towards him. That whole sequence right there, that's lunacy. That's him being a fucking lunatic. That is what I expect to see when I hear the announcers on commentary talking about how unpredictable Dean Ambrose is. Because when you have him going through his regular old standardized moveset and you're lying to me and telling me that he's unpredictable, that's bullshit. Especially when you have a world-class wrestler in a sense of, in a person like AJ Styles, where his whole gimmick in the ring is that he has his opponent pegged. He knows exactly what they're throwing his way, and he's going to counter that. So it's just very rough for me to sit back and listen to them talk about how, AJ Styles, he studied Dean Ambrose, but Dean Ambrose is so unpredictable. He doesn't know what's coming next. It's like, come on, dude, stop with that bullshit. But I'm glad that there was a point in time in the match where they actually had him be unpredictable, and I wished I would have seen more of that with him as champion.
Oh, for sure, because honestly, when you haven't had that story been told to you for the last 3-4 months, and then all of a sudden you're trying to continue to tell us that story that's been, it's more of just, it feels like a branding gimmick more than an actual gimmick. You know what I mean? They kind of have branded him. He's the lunatic fringe. That's like the big catchphrase that they're trying to make you like him, to try to market him for you. Whereas, but they're not translating that across television to you. You know, they might do it in his promos at times, but in the ring, he's got the same old tired. Yeah, he's got the same old tired few moves. And honestly, there was a spot in this match that did get under my skin, and it was when AJ hit the Pele kick, and then they do the same thing with him going back off the ropes and hitting the clothesline. I never have liked that. In fact, the only time the only time I do like it is if it actually makes some sense. AJ Styles hit the fucking Pele kick. That's one of his patented moves, and then Ambrose just bounces off the ropes and hits him full on with a clothesline. I understand sometimes there's no sells, but off a Pele kick, that's one of Styles' moves that has sometimes been a near fall or it's probably even pinned guys before in smaller matches. I'm pretty sure he's pinned people off it in TNA at some point, but yeah, come on, I didn't like that. I maybe that's just me being nitpicky, but
no, that's not at all you being nitpicky or shit. If you're being nitpicky, I'm being nitpicky too, because I did a live reaction to that match and I uploaded it to YouTube, and that's the exact moment where the live reaction starts, when Dean Ambrose does that clothesline where he bounces off the ropes. So yeah, and I was like, oh my God, look at Dean Ambrose, so unpredictable. Who would have known that he would do that clothesline?
And going back to the lunacy stuff that Jay was talking about, I think I now know why this whole lunatic thing will never work in the WWE with Dean Ambrose. And it's because if you're going to go consistently, or if you're going to go full out with something like that, you have to be willing to go to the extreme each and every single night. And that's just something that can never happen in the world that is the WWE. And that's part of why Ambrose cannot be great. And I keep making the point that I feel like the guy is being limited because of that. Because when we know this guy outside of the WWE, you've seen how extreme, how violent, how vicious, how crazy and psychotic Ambrose can actually be. But in the WWE, he just can't live up to that expectation because they're going to standardize him. They're going to try and book him a certain way, and they're going to make their own little definition of what a lunatic is. He's not always going to be able to wrestle in that street fighting style that he's been accustomed to. You know, so that's part of why Ambrose cannot be great, and that's part of why Ambrose is such a different wrestler, a different character. People just don't understand that Ambrose is wired in a certain different way in the ring, which means that when he wrestles, it's not going to be this typical technician style. No, his style is more of a violent, street fighting, brawl kind of style, but you can't get that night in and night out of him in the ring because that's not what WWE is made of. And that's what's hurting Dean Ambrose. That's what's limiting Dean Ambrose. And I really wish they could do away with this whole lunatic stuff. That way we could see a different side of Ambrose that maybe he can adapt to in the WWE.
And I think a lot of that stems from a potential heel turn for Dean Ambrose. I really do think that would work wonders for his character. But
because then he can be more dirty, you know, more vicious and all. Yeah,
exactly. It can fit more into his style. I don't think he works that well as a babyface. I really don't.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not saying he can't get over because people like this guy. We like Dean Ambrose. That's why I had a bunch of get out of jail free cards for him in the past.
That's starting to run out. I don't know if you noticed, but
well, yeah. I mean, there's nothing to defend anymore. You know, like I mean, this character is like there was still likable and defendable items in the past, whereas these last couple of months, I think that his character has been exposed to being that much weaker because of the WWE Championship, because he's in the spotlight in the main event, and now you're seeing that much more of how weak of a character he is. And actually, I think his character was doing better prior to winning the title than actually once winning the title. Even though I will say his credibility went up because he actually beat, you know, both Rollins and Reigns in that way, but that doesn't necessarily translate to your character and how, you know, well that's being portrayed. Anyway, though, I do want to comment on this match and say that I thought this was great. I don't want the first thing and the only thing I say about this match to be the one spot that I'm going to nitpick, because honestly I don't have much else to say anything negatively about this match. I thought these two worked really well together. Yeah. I thought Dean Ambrose put on a great show in this match. I thought AJ Styles put on a great show in this match. I also love that moment where AJ went to hit the 450 splash, the springboard 450, and he said, let's see if he kicks out of this one. I love that from Styles. Again, that non-mic work, baby. That stuff is great. You just got to love it. And Styles is doing it really well. I mean, he's getting up there. He's getting better and better with it, I think, every
Wasn't
match.
Ambrose known for that, too?
Yeah, he does it sometimes, but it's more Kevin Owens that I think of.
Not that I've really noticed. It's been like Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Mark.
Well, during the Shield days, I remember Ambrose used to do that a lot.
He was probably just growling and foaming at the mouth. So,
But man, what a cool match! And not only that, but like the moment of AJ Styles winning is surreal to me. Like, this is a guy who comes from the enemy company, TNA, and comes in, and within 8-9 months of being in the company, he's the WWE World Champion. Like, they actually went there. They pulled the trigger. They went that far. They said, yes, we know you're that great. And you know, you can kind of see that they would probably do that considering he didn't go through NXT. But it's amazing that they see the stardom, they see the greatness in AJ that the majority of us do. And it's amazing that they pulled the trigger. And right away, his first real shot, actually he had shots against Roman Reigns, but his first shot after the John Cena feud, right away, he wins the title, and it's a perfect transition. You know, you go from him beating Cena to beating Ambrose and winning the title. He is now on a level, like you go to that like kayfabe tier list that we have here, he's on a level that is like at the top. He's right, you know, he's not on the Brock Lesnar tier, but he's on the top damn tier. He's like the number one guy right now because he beats John Cena clean, wins the WWE World title the next month. I don't think there's anyone else in the company right now who you could put above him, not named Brock Lesnar.
And if you guys are
wondering
in the world
right now,
if you guys are wondering what it is that I want from pro wrestling, because I can admit that sometimes when it's me trying to make sense of what's flowing up here and I put it out there to all of you, you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? If you're wondering what I want from pro wrestling, and if I could sum it up in a very simple way, AJ Styles. You look at what he does in the ring, you look at his character and the way in which his character, you can see the gimmick played out in the movement that he makes in the ring. And then also, AJ Styles beats John Cena, and WWE provides a path of upward mobility. He says, I beat the face that runs the place. I want a trophy for that. And the trophy I want is a WWE Championship. He beats John Cena, moves on to the WWE Championship, upward mobility. Boom, you're actually taking advantage of the momentum that's been created, and you're pushing somebody forward, and you're letting him take that overness. You're letting him take that energy to the title.
Yep.
That's what I want. That is a fucking complete superstar in AJ Styles, a great guy, winning a world champion. That's what I want out of wrestling.
Well, that's
AJ
common
Styles.
sense. That's common sense, but you don't get
common sense ain't too common.
That's what I'm saying.
Sense ain't too common.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't get common sense often in WWE, but I agree. That's what everybody would love to see more in wrestling. You know, that proper style of booking where things actually make sense. Where if you beat somebody who's huge, you get rewarded for that. Much like in sports, if you beat the top team, you advance in the playoffs and you make it to the World Series or the Super Bowl, whatever it may be. That's what wrestling should be more like, but it's too often that we don't get it to be like that.
Absolutely. If you he beats the top guy, so that's why I remember on the SummerSlam review we all talked about it. Yeah. He should automatically be number one contender. They did the right thing. They put him in the number one contender spot, and then they did the next right thing, which was to just have him win. You can't kill that momentum and not have him win tonight. There was no way AJ Styles doesn't walk out with that belt tonight, and it makes any damn sense. So, damn right he wins the title tonight. Perfect timing, perfect way to tell a story, to build up a character, to make him feel like he's the best in the world. Storyline-wise, he's the top guy that shows up every week. You know, again, top guy not named Brock Lesnar. 100%. He's number one right now. Again, right now, today, September 12th, 2016, not, well, it's after midnight here, so September 12th for here. But,
still September.
That's what I'm saying.
Here.
Okay.
And I get the sense
my apologies to the West Coast.
And I get the sense that we're about to enter a hell of a series of matches between Ambrose and Styles, which I'm all for. I hope the next match is like a freaking ladder match or a cage match or something like that, because I feel like these two guys, it benefits both of them. Because going back to my point earlier, Ambrose is at his best when he wrestles in the style that he's best known for, which is that brawling and that street fight style. If we can see more matches like that for Ambrose competing in, you can make the case he could be the best in the world. So why not give him the match that he loves and have him face one of the best in the world in AJ Styles and have both of these guys collide? What do you mean no?
Let's not push it there.
Why not?
Please don't. Ambrose being the best in the world, no. That spot is solid.
No, I said when it comes to that street fighting style, he's the best in the world.
He can't have a street fight every fucking week. That's not.
I agree.
See, you're the one that made the point earlier. We can get maybe a good match out of him every now and again.
Yeah, but
I just
got a tweet from Hoodies saying, "Does this mean you won't inexplicably snub AJ Styles of the Wrestler of the Year W this year?" I didn't snub anyone last year. The person that was supposed to win, they won. So
yeah, and she got voted to be the Wrestler of the Year. It's only fair, if the most people, if the votes come in, and Sasha Banks wins, Sasha Banks wins.
Wait, I thought it was Seth Rollins. Oh no, yeah, that was a prank. I forgot it.
Yeah.
I completely
and Cass is in the chat right now. What's up, Cass? You remember that? Yeah, remember when we punked you and Seth Rollins winning Wrestler of the Year?
That was fun. Good times.
That was with that whole Steve Harvey Miss. Yeah. Was it Miss Universe? Yeah, that was
the early days when we were still newbies. Which, speaking of, we're about to have a year already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, I've been on this show for almost 2 years now. That's the crazy thing.
Time goes freaking fast. Like,
yeah.
It'll be what is it, the Royal Rumble for you, Evan?
Yes, yeah,
2.
that'll mark 2 years. Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, man. I love it. So, but yeah, this Backlash show though, huh? This was a pretty damn good show. What do you think, guys?
I'd say it's one of the best pay-per-views WWE has put out this year, and it's surprising because I was not for the idea of brand extended pay-per-views, but after this shit tonight, if that's what we're gonna get more out of, why the hell not? Let's go for it.
Yeah, this is a good way to get things going. I was very impressed with this show. Very, very good.
Yeah. It was definitely better than that shit show freaking SummerSlam from last month, which we all completely shat on. I mean, what the hell was that? And but then again, it's SmackDown, guys, so don't get too excited because for all we know, Raw might just pull out a random-ass pay-per-view out of their ass that might not be that good. So,
for me, this was a really enjoyable show. I liked Becky Lynch and AJ Styles winning titles. Heath Slater winning, The Miz retaining. There was a lot of good stuff, a lot of just, and I guess this is like the same thing that I would say about, I was about to say most of the NXT takeovers, but shit, all of NXT takeovers. The 3 things that I ask for when it comes to a big professional wrestling show: entertain me, good payoff to stories, and you give me something to look forward to. And I think that Backlash accomplished all of those 3 things tonight.
Yes, it did.
Maybe not from beginning to end, but close enough. Close enough.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I mean, again, you have I think this was kind of an easy show to be good in a way because you had, the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion, the first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions. You know what I mean? Like those being there, it's refreshing, so it's exciting. You're like, oh, I don't know who's gonna win the tournament. I don't know who's gonna win that 6-pack challenge. That definitely helped make this show good. But to have the IC title match kind of steal that show is really amazing. And then not only that, but to have the main event be so good too. So I think this show it had a lot going for it. And again, like you just said, Lucas, this is gonna be the tone. They set the tone to me for the brand exclusive pay-per-views, and this means that Clash of Champions in a couple weeks for Raw is going to have to really step up if they want to be as good as this show, because this one was excellent.
Yep. And one quick thing I want to point out here, because I think this is really important, but notice this, and I don't think many people are noticing this. Over the last 3 weeks, Kevin Owens became the WWE Universal Champion, but it wasn't clean. Tonight, AJ Styles won the World Championship, but it wasn't clean. I just hope that going forward, since we now have 2 heel champions, that we do not go the Seth Rollins route. Please, 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 please start giving me clean finishes. Make championships seem like real championships. Make the champion legitimate, because honestly, this entire year, all I can remember clean championship victories for is Roman Reigns. That's the only guy. I mean, Ambrose, yeah, he's had victories here and there, but they're not memorable. I need to start seeing the main events be taken seriously, because I honestly don't remember a last time where I could sit there and look forward to a main event match with so much intensity, knowing it's not going to finish with a bullshit ending. Like, I want to go away with that, because I'm so paranoid now. Every time I'm watching a main event, I'm expecting a fucking bullshit finish, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I will say he did low blow him and whatnot, but it's still like it kind of just felt like him just kind of being a dick, like no pun intended, but just kind of being a dick. Like he just kind of just didn't give a damn about it. Like he could, I got the impression that he still could have beaten him clean. He just. Like he took advantage of a scenario that was there and just said, fuck it. And that just kind of plays into this AJ Styles no fucks given, they don't want none type of attitude that he had. I'm loving that character right now. I am just loving it.
That was for Dean Ambrose insulting him by giving him that bowling trophy.
Oh yeah,
on SmackDown. He was like, you want to do that? Boom.
And you know what's kind of funny is that's kind of how SmackDown ended. Like he low blowed Ambrose on SmackDown. Pretty much told him if I get a chance to do this at the pay-per-view, I'm doing it, and then got a chance and did it. And, like, as soon as the ref went down, I'm like, oh, God. But the fact that it was such a temporary thing and it wasn't, like, the club ran in or some other, like, I mean, obviously they're on Raw, I understand that, but, like, let's just say, like, somebody ran in and there was a whole bunch of stuff. Like, at least it wasn't anything like that. AJ just, said, yeah, okay, he ain't looking, bang, and then hits the Styles, at least he still hit the Styles Clash, too, to make it look like he cemented the win. I get what you're saying, though. Like, if he can beat John Cena clean, come on, But at the same time, I think he just, like, almost looked at Ambrose as being below him now that he's the face that runs the place in another way.
I agree.
After the show was over, Dean Ambrose actually cut a promo in the ring talking about living out his dreams and stuff and, never letting anyone put you down, like it, stuff like that.
That sounds a lot like somebody that, never mind.
So, yeah. He didn't actually cut the promo. That would have been kind of crazy talking about, following your dreams after losing. So, he wouldn't have done that.
Oh.
But,
wait, so you wait.
Shots fired.
So that's what essentially you lied just to make a joke out of the situation. Damn you, Jay.
I don't know what you're talking about. I received some incorrect information.
Was one of
Ambrose? That's why I was like looking at my.
Was one of Ambrose's ears a little off? Or?
Yeah, did he have the cauliflower ears? Like,
did he have a little? Like his eyes look a little red and have a couple of bruise marks on his face?
Yeah.
Get a little emotional.
He was like crying too. Yeah.
Oh, a little emotional. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, Jay? I'm not letting you get away with this.
Alrighty, guys, that is it. Thank you for tuning in to PWF Empire Live. I don't know if we're going to be on Wednesday because we have the Cruiserweight Classic finale of that. So we'll see what happens there. Just make sure you're following us on Twitter. We'll update you on everything that's going on. And until next time, thank you for tuning in and peace out.